Hey, how you are?
Said the blind man who picked up the hammer and saw.
Did you have to go there?
I just went there.
Why? Why do you have to do that
I
shit?
didn't have to do that. I just wanted to.
You know,
You're not getting this. You're not getting it at all.
I'm getting it.
Okay. Because I haven't had a drink today. So in there lies a problem too.
Shit.
Hold on. I want to go get a rum and Coke before I get pissed off.
I think you should.
Pissed off at people now.
You should. Go get a drink, Phil.
I'll be right back.
That's important.
If you hear the ice clinking, that's me.
No, I figured. I didn't think it was going to be somebody else. I could be wrong, though. I've been known to be wrong before.
It happens quite frequently.
It does. It does. Yep. Waiting for Phil.
That's how we do it. That's how the show starts.
Yeah.
This is why we try not to have him on so much.
He knows that the show starts at 6 o'clock.
Mm.
And yet,
here he is.
Off getting a drink. This is what we deal with. It's not ideal, Richard. It's what we have.
I just got a pop-up that Fortean Slip is live.
It is live.
There we go.
Yeah. That's why it says live up in the top right-hand corner of the Hangout. In case you were wondering.
Quite so, champ.
That's what I'm here for. Are you better now?
Thank you for asking. I got it out of Ye Flask of Doom.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, that thing. Holy shit.
Perfection.
It's still hanging here on the wall.
As it should be.
I know.
You take that places, you scare people.
Yes.
Thing's fucking dangerous.
I know. It's like the drive-by Flask of Doom.
I saw some crazy shit happen the night that thing came out.
Hey, some really strange shit actually did happen though.
At the Browns place?
Yeah. Yeah, I went out to well, let me put it this way. I had put my recorder, which is like an 8-hour recording thing it can do, clear out past the bluff, into kind of, there was a huge stump out by the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was reviewing it, a couple of days later, I was reviewing it, and it's all timed, so kind of what time in the morning things happen. Right. And it was about 2:something, 2:20, 2:30, somewhere in the morning. And the fat pig of a man had managed to get himself into the hammock and was snoring away. And everyone was pretty much down for the night, and I was passed out in the easy chair in front of the fire.
Mm-hmm. I was back in my hotel room.
Yes, you were. And this was far away from camp anyway. And something walked up to the recorder. You could hear him kind of fumbling. You could hear kind of fumbling with the recorder.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounded like the recorder was then dropped back on the stump. And I went out to retrieve it. I didn't notice if it was, any different or anything. Because I just went out and grabbed it, But yeah, I was like, well, what in the fuck was that?
Right.
And I brought it up to, what the hell? I can't remember what was one of the Browns or not, but I was planning on doing something with it and making some kind of a video. And I decided, no, I think people will just think that I'm a fucking hoaxer, and I just didn't do it.
Yeah, and that whole situation is very odd.
Yeah.
Like, I think that a lot of us wanted to give it credence, and we wanted to at least look into it further. And the problem is I don't know that there was any fuckery going on, but based on how they were later on, that's where I started having some issues with it.
It's like maybe a friend of theirs or a neighbor was out at 2 a.m. with a flashlight, and he was, trying to see if there were.
And anyone could have gone out and been doing any number of things out in that field. It wasn't like that field was inaccessible.
Yeah. Oh, this was up above. This is up above.
But even that
easier.
Even that isn't inaccessible.
Oh no, it's right along there.
But anyway, let's start the show, Phil. We can get back into this. It's important. These things are important, Phil.
Okay.
Right. This is the Fortean Slip, episode 55, The Legend of Santa Claus. Welcome. And we have a jolly old fucking tubby man with us with a beard for this episode because Steve forgot he had something else going on.
Ho, ho, ho.
Steve, you can't say that. I mean, Steve, Jesus Christ, Phil.
Jesus Christ, Phil, we can't see that.
You can't say that. I called you Steve at first.
Oh.
You can't say that, Phil. You're looking at a Me Too movement. I'm telling you.
Again?
We got to get rid of the ho, ho, ho.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
baby, just go outside.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Why are people getting in all this tightwad about this song, Baby, It's Cold Outside, when there are actually people who are cold outside?
I agree. There's homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
And those people may be freezing.
I digress.
Yeah, I've noticed a little bit of pushback on the whole "baby, it's cold outside" thing, which is good. I think this is the effect of political correctness and there's all this bullshit going way too far.
Yeah. It was a Tay song.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to be fun. It was, by the way, first performed by one of my favorite all-time singers, Ella Fitzgerald.
Okay.
So I just don't. If Ella didn't find anything wrong with it, why in the fuck should I? That's all I'm saying.
I have the full list.
Well, and not just that. I kind of feel like, if it's a song, it kind of falls into a strange category, sort of like a book or a story or a movie. It's how much further are we going to go to try to police these fucking things? Are we going to start taking out anything that's related to a rape in a movie?
Well, yeah, it all comes down to representation, or as far as presentation. You can present a murder, for example, doesn't mean they're condoning it. Like in a movie,
but I wonder, like, how far this will all be taken.
As far as they can push it.
Yeah, which is the unfortunate thing. So,
but I think people with half a brain cell,
counts me out.
Okay, can figure this out on their own. And that song is a good example of it. It's like, it's obvious that it's just a presentation of back and forth, tay between two people who are comfortable with each other, consider themselves friends or whatever. However you want to see it. But to go beyond the point of what's actually happening in the song is not only ridiculous, and treating it as some kind of a valid fact is just beyond the pale. It's not, you see a murder on TV, you see some hitman is on TV in a movie, and I'm against murder. You can't do that. You can't. I don't want to see that.
Change the fucking channel.
Exactly. Don't listen to the fucking song.
It's much like, this podcast. If you come across this thing, there's a button you can shut it off. You can go to another video on YouTube.
I mean, how many songs, back in the early days of rap, and talked about putting a cap in someone's ass. I mean, it's the same kind of crap.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's half the problem. People think they have the right to be offended.
Speaking of that song, how was it in Maine today, Chris?
It's fucking cold outside, Phil. Let me tell you. And it's been weird. It's been a very strange winter. We had like a pretty big snowstorm come through, and then it got warm again, and then it got cold, and then it got warm. Like the other day where it was like 41 outside.
Yeah, that's been happening here too. It's kind of we call it the Pineapple Express when it comes up from the south, and then it hits the jet stream and it pushes right over the Rockies towards you guys.
Yeah, it's such a I remember things differently from when I was a kid, but maybe that's just me remembering them differently. And
well,
how
pot can affect you that way.
That too. But it just seems like the whole season has changed. It's more like January to beginning of March, when it used to feel like it was December to March.
Right.
But and like I said, it just could be my memory being fucked up, and very well could have been drugs.
No, our winters don't really start until January. I mean, it's January and February are our coldest months.
Mm-hmm.
So November, December, it's a real toss-up. But we're getting way too serious here.
That's right. We're here to talk about fucking Santa Claus.
God damn it.
That jolly old man sneaks into people's houses. I think I think he's kind of suspect. No, that's the wrong one. That one's in jail.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Me too.
Yeah, exactly. So, Richard. We lose him often, Phil, in case you're wondering. He doesn't like to pay attention.
I'm paying attention.
No, are you? That's why I had a nice long pause.
There's lag because of the time difference.
No, because you're answering me quite, succinctly right now.
You're right. I apologize.
Yeah, he should.
No. I detect there's like a half-second time difference.
Oh, he is in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So,
future man.
It is Clement.
Is it
in the future?
You almost sounded. Yeah, you sounded like Nick Pope there for a minute.
Yeah, I could do a passable Nick Pope.
I think you could.
Can you do a decent Jeremy Clarkson?
No,
I didn't think so.
Then Phil's out. Then
that man is a national embarrassment.
Oh,
what did he do now?
Oh boy!
Didn't need to do anything. He just exists. That's enough.
Jeez, listen to this guy.
You brought it up, Phil.
All right, I'm sorry. Damn.
Don't look at me. So, Richard, Santa Claus. What do we got?
What about him?
What do we got?
Well, he's a fat dude, wears red and white, gives presents to children.
Yeah, Santa Claus.
There you go. That's my research.
Yeah.
That's all we got?
Basically, this all dates back to Yule, which is the pagan festival Christmas took over. The leader of the tribe would go out on Yule and get some food for the whole tribe, which, is why it's red and white, because it's fresh blood on white snow. So that's where the red and white coat comes from. The legend of Santa Claus can be
I don't get it. I don't get it. This guy's like bloodlust. What is this? What bloodlust?
He goes out, he kills a deer or something, and he brings it back to the tribe to eat. And that's where the symbol of giving and the red and white comes from. It's fresh blood on the snow, which makes me a lot more, pro Santa Claus now that I've found out he's drenched in the blood of his enemies. But the legend of Santa Claus can be traced back, right?
His enemies being cute little deer.
You know what? Deer are dickheads, and we need to unite against them before it's too late.
Before they fuck a moose.
Before they fuck the moose, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the legend of Santa Claus can be traced back a few thousand years to a monk named St. Nicholas. It's believed that Nicholas was born sometime around 2080 AD in Patara near Myra.
Wait. What, 20 something AD?
2080.
Oh, 2080 AD.
Yes.
That would be ahead of our time now.
Do you mean 280 AD?
Yeah, AD.
Okay.
You
AD.
said 2080 AD, which would be like fucking 62 years from now.
I see what's happened here. I meant 280 AD.
That's the question.
So I thought that Santa was a time traveler for a minute.
It could be John Titor.
Mm.
There you are. In modern day Turkey is where he's from. So 280 AD modern Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Much admired for his piety and kindness, St. Nicholas became the subject of many legends. It is said that he gave away all of his inherited wealth and traveled the countryside helping the poor and sick.
Now, you say Turkey. I thought St. Nicholas was a Germanic saint, and that he used to leave like candy and things in wooden shoes on people's doorsteps.
Well, you were wrong.
Okay.
You were wrong, Phil.
I wasn't wrong about 280 AD.
Someone should do a breakdown on Phil's version of Santa Claus because he's so
Santa
wrong.
Claus.
I'm gonna give Thinker Thunker a call. He's pretty good at the old.
Put him on right now.
Yeah.
Please.
Let's make that happen.
All right. Chill out because I've got the German version as well.
Okay, there we go. Here we go. Now we're talking.
I've done my thorough research. Right, so
it's very good and thorough.
One of the best known of St. Nicholas stories is that he saved 3 poor sisters from being sold into slavery and prostitution to a man named Filius Polongus.
Mm-hmm.
My kind of guy.
By their father by providing them with a dowry so that they could be married. Over the course of many years, St. Nicholas' popularity spread and he became known as the protector of children and sailors. What?
And sailors?
And
sailors? Right. That's a very odd niche, if you ask me. Children and sailors.
I don't know if they need to be grouped together.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't trust my children with sailors.
Well, back then, the nuns used to raise the orphans, the children. So who raised the sailors is what I want to know. They weren't nuns. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
They didn't clink their fucking glass.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm just going to do it more.
I was just trying to do my impersonation of Steve with his high quality microphone and his absolutely, no
disregard for the fact that we're doing a show.
Here we go.
I'm sorry, I have a really good microphone.
It's totally isolated.
My favorite was last week when you could hear him working on his eBay stuff at the same time. That was vintage Steve right there.
That was fucking brilliant.
So
no shock mat on that quality mic.
So his feast day is celebrated on the anniversary of his death, which is December 6th. Oh, that's also Krampus Day.
Krampus or Krampus or Krampus?
Krampus, yep.
Krampus?
Yeah. This was traditionally considered a lucky day to make large purchases or to get married. By the Renaissance, St. Nicholas was the most popular saint in Europe. Even after Protestant Reformation, when the veneration of saints began to be discouraged, St. Nicholas maintained a positive reputation, especially in Holland.
Okay, continue.
So that's the early years.
Especially in Holland, where we put candy in little wooden shoes outside of kids' doors.
No, you're still wrong. No.
You're wrong, Phil. You've been corrected.
You've been broken.
Don't make me go Google on your ass.
You can't Google during the show, okay?
says who?
The rules.
The rules.
It's in the show constitution.
So what you're reading this from is a piece of paper, an old tablet they had scribbled this all on, right?
It is a piece of paper, actually.
Oh God, I really stepped in that kimchi, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You look rather silly right now, if I may be so bold.
Your co-host needs to be corrected.
I've got rum on my face now.
So, St. Nicholas made his first inroads into American popular culture towards the end of the 18th century. In December 1773 and again in 1774, a New York newspaper reported that groups of Dutch families had gathered to honor the anniversary of his death. The name Santa Claus evolved from Nick Dutch's nickname, Sinterklaas, a shortened form of Sint Nicolaas, Dutch for Saint
Claus.
Nicholas.
Santa Claus.
In 1804, John Pinter...
They would leave wooden shoes by his grave.
A member of the New York Historical Society, distributed woodcuts of St. Nicholas as the Society's annual meeting. The background of the engraving contains now familiar Santa images, including stockings filled with
wooden shoes
and fruit hung over a fireplace. In 1809, Washington Irving helped to popularize the Santa Claus stories when he referred to St. Nicholas as the patron saint of New York in his book. The History of New York. As his prominence grew, Santa Claus was described as everything from a rascal with a blue three-cornered hat, red waistcoat and yellow stockings, to a man wearing a broad-rimmed hat and a huge pair of Flemish trunk hose.
Holding a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
next to a polar bear.
Next to a polar bear.
Huh.
That's when Santa Claus came over here. Well, to you, to the New World.
To you, I like that. To you.
Well, I'm
you
part
people.
of Europe, aren't
Yeah.
I? So.
Well, unless we're Native American, guess where we came from?
Russia.
Well, some of us are actually.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Totally.
Well, I'm not wrong at all. Native Americans crossed the Bering Strait in the Ice Age.
Yeah, well, that wasn't actually my question, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Continue.
What was the question?
Never
Continue.
mind. That's a word.
No, I want another question now.
I said, other than being Native American, where do you think Americans came from?
Oh,
I mean, other than, I'm not talking about back in before they became Native Americans. I'm talking about afterwards.
right. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in the Europeans, as in their, their legends and traditions and so forth.
You think those might have been brought over?
They could have been, from France and England,
Oh.
Shining Sea, Scepter, all that. This island, this realm, this
Land of mystical
Melting
proportions.
Right.
Yeah, it's like there's no such thing as native Englanders.
Well, there aren't. The Romans wiped out all the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings.
Well, yeah, but even the Anglo-Saxons weren't original, Englanders. No, they came over too. England is nothing but a mass influx of influxers.
Celts, Saxons.
Well
Vikings,
put,
Romans,
Phil. Well put.
Normans. See, my ancestors were Norman originally.
They were Norman.
Yes, Norman.
All of them were named Norman.
Yes. Norman de Pollingfold. Yes. Yeah, that's where the Polling 100 and the little town of Polling down in West Sussex, I believe. That's where it got its name. Please continue.
Gift giving, mainly centered around children, has been an important
without a beat, man. Just right back into it. I'm sorry, I just had to comment.
You had to interrupt me and totally ruin the whole thing.
You're a pro, though. I just had to say that. Go ahead.
Has been an important part of the Christmas celebration since the holiday's rejuvenation in the early 19th century. Stores began to advertise Christmas shopping in 1820, and by the 1840s, newspapers were creating a separate section for holiday advertisements, which often featured images of the newly popular Santa Claus. In 1841, thousands of children visited a Philadelphia shop to see a life-size Santa Claus model. It was only a matter of time before stores began to attract children and their parents with the lure of a peek at a live Santa Claus. In the early 1890s, the Salvation Army needed money to pay for the free Christmas meals they provided to needy families. They began dressing up unemployed men in Santa Claus suits and sending them into the streets of New York to solicit donations. Those familiar Salvation Army Santas have begun ringing bells on the street corners of American cities ever since.
Okay, where's Coca-Cola in this?
That was the advent of the now popular mall Santas. So, history, guys.
The popular advent of putting your child on a stranger's lap.
Yeah, you got to just ruin everything, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be like, oh, children, the season of giving. You've just got to be like, they're obviously pedophiles.
I'm not saying they're pedophiles. I never said that. I said you go and you put your child on a stranger's lap.
Right.
Something that you normally wouldn't do.
And you and their whole life, you tell them up until a certain point that this man is such a great man. He comes and brings you toys.
Mm-hmm. And candy. You know, just like candy. Just like a guy named Gacy.
Mm. You like that, Richard, did you?
That was a good reference.
Well, it is a reference. I mean, instead of Santa Claus, you have a clown.
That's right. He dressed up too.
Yeah. He was good at it. One of the best.
But instead of saying ho ho ho, he said ha ha ha.
He said, "Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me." And buried them into his floorboards.
Mm.
He was a sick man, but you know the great clowns are.
Yeah.
Why do you think they call people they don't like bozo?
Exactly.
There you go. Crazy bozo.
The more you know, because knowledge is power. Yeah.
Now look up. Go to YouTube and look up Crinkles the Clown. If you want to get freaked out, go ahead. I dare you. Don't do it. Don't do it right now. Not right now.
No. We're doing a show, and as I've previously explained, we don't do that shit during the show.
Yeah, just what I'm
we
saying.
Conduct ourselves with apparent airs of professionalism.
Crinkles the Clown. Do it when you're high too, or drunk. That's even better.
You're insane, Phil.
Not as far as you know.
No, you are.
But I do know. That's why I said you're insane.
So, okay.
Finally, 18th century America's Santa Claus was not the only St. Nicholas-inspired gift giver to make an appearance at Christmas time. Similar figures were popular all over the world. Chris Kind of Kris Kringle was believed to deliver presents to well-behaved Swiss and German children, meaning Christ child. Chris Kind is an angel-like figure often accompanied by St. Nicholas on his holiday missions.
I thought it was Krampus.
Yeah, he's there as well. There's like 3 of them. It's a whole thing.
How the fuck do they all fit in that sleigh?
Well, it's a magic sleigh, Chris.
Oh.
I don't think Krampus goes in the sleigh. I think he gets an Uber or something.
You
know.
Yeah.
He gets an Uber or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine Krampus in the sleigh, if I'm honest.
It would get a little bit Krampus, wouldn't it?
God damn you. Just fuck you, Phil.
Jesus. I mean, you chutney sucking Jeremy Clarkson wannabe. Just get on with it.
Yes, tell us more.
He's sucking. Well, all right then, fine. In Scandinavia, a jolly elf named Julton was thought to deliver gifts in a sleigh drawn by goats. English legend explains that Father Christmas visits each home on Christmas Eve to fill their children's stockings with holiday treats. Pierre Noël.
Go by goats.
What's wrong with goats, Phil? You got a thing against goats?
On Chewy. On Betty. I don't know. You gotta come up.
You should have thought up names in advance if you were going to do that.
They need goats' names if you want to do that.
Right. Pierre Noël is responsible for filling the shoes of French children. In Russia, it is believed that an elderly woman named Bababushka purposely gave the wise men wrong directions to Bethlehem so that they couldn't find Jesus. Later, she felt remorseful but could not find the men to undo the damage. To this day, on January 5th, Bababushka visits Russian children, leaving gifts at their bedsides in the hope that one of them is the baby Jesus and she will be forgiven. In Italy...
On woolly, on horny.
You're still on goat.
Well, you brought it up.
Yeah, I did bring it up, but we've moved past goats now, Phil.
No, you've moved past goats. I'm still pondering on the goat thing. My mind is not working as quickly this morning because I have some. I'm never mind. Go ahead.
Right. In Italy, a similar story exists about a woman called Le Befana, a kindly witch who rides a broomstick down the chimneys of Italian homes to deliver toys into the stockings of lovely children.
Now that's fucked up.
Why is that fucked up?
A witch, a Halloween witch on Christmas riding a broom down chimneys. That's pretty. That's screwy. That's kind of screwy.
But a jolly old fat man with magic. That's all good.
Absolutely. I'm waiting for him to get to Father Christmas. Where did this Father Christmas thing come in?
I'm waiting for you to, much like Babushka, start sending gifts to women all over the internet in hopes of your forgiveness.
By the way, for any ladies who are in the chat room right now, I love you all. Stick around, please.
Yeah.
You're all awesome.
For about 5 minutes.
You deserve a lot better than this show, I'll tell you that right now.
Everyone deserves a lot better than this show.
And yet they come back.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The ladies, I had to give a special shout out.
As you should. So that's it, Richard? That's all we got?
That's all we got on the history of Santa Claus.
You didn't mention Father Christmas.
I did mention Father Christmas, if you'd been paying attention.
I wasn't. Did you mention Father Christmas?
Yes, I mentioned Father Christmas.
Okay, that's a British thing, right?
Yes, that's a British thing.
Okay, all right. I might have been filling my cup, for the third time.
It's possible.
Very possible.
My tiki mug. From Ye Flask of Doom.
Which is a Flask of Doom. I can attest to that. So, that was kind of lackluster, Richard.
But the problem is, I can't ever get it right. It either goes too long or too short.
No, it's just kind of lackluster. I don't think your heart was in it. I don't think your heart was in it this week.
Hey, I was just fucking holding back from doing the pirate voice, okay? That's how much I was into it.
I wasn't feeling it, but...
You should have done the pirate voice, I think.
No.
Let's start again.
No, let's not.
Go ahead, Richard. Just give it a go.
Nah.
No, you're not feeling it. Just not there.
It's not there this week.
The magic.
Steve's not here. Richard's not himself. That's what it is.
I could fill it for Steve.
You gotta bang more shit around, Phil. Move a couple of filing cabinets.
Excuse me for a minute. I have to go in and help with the dishes. Be right back.
Well, so back to now that we're done with the lovely origins of Santa Claus. Back to what we were discussing at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the horrible segue there on my part. And we totally lost track of that. The whole investigation on the Olympic Peninsula.
Oh, we're gonna go there. Okay.
Well, we were talking about it, Phil.
We were, and it was kind of, and it was kind of strange. I think it was a situation. We did have some laughs. I mean, someone got themselves into a Bigfoot costume and started chasing someone around the woods.
That did happen.
You know, a lot of interesting and odd things happened that evening.
There may be video evidence of that.
I know there's at least, yes, there is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Doug still has it on his channel on YouTube.
I'm sure he does.
But yeah, no, it was obviously. I mean, we obviously had a good time as a group of people while we were there. But as far as the investigation aspect of it, I think a lot of that is way overblown by people who are in that quote unquote field. And in that aspect, you know, I think that weekend wasn't so much an investigation.
Yeah, overall, I don't think it was, even though there were some investigation elements to it.
Right. And no, we did, you know, and John did get in the Bigfoot costume and did stand in the spot where the thermal image was taken from. And we did film him with a thermal camera to see, you know, because I think it was Doug that was, you know, interested in seeing, you know, what someone in a costume in that spot would look like.
On thermal imaging. And what a difference.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that it's somebody in a costume and not a creature or animal or whatnot.
And there were the stagnant audio recorders that were set around, including my own. And I went out, maybe 200 yards into the dark and scary woods and found a large stump, and set the recorder on top of the stump. And this recorder is it'll run for 12 hours at a time. And so the next morning, while I was trying to get sober, I went back out and reclaimed the recorder. And then over the next couple of days, I was just listening to the recording and found what I determined to be around sometime between 2 and 3 a.m. You could hear something walking up to the stump and picking up the recorder, fumbling with it, and then dropping it back onto the stump.
Yeah, and I don't know that you ever told me that.
I don't think I've told. I haven't told anyone that, and I've still got the recording, I believe.
And I mean, I don't know how much of this we're allowed to talk about. There is an image that was taken at the Brown property, which was rather interesting. Not the thermal. I don't know if you know about that image or not, Phil. I think you do.
There are several, one of which was down in some brush or some berry bushes. I do remember that one.
Yeah. And so, but I like I was saying earlier, I think that a lot of the good aspects of the things that were quote unquote going on there were overshadowed by the fact that everything went to shit with, you know, those people after the fact. And it was very strange how it all kind of imploded.
You know, here's the thing about my perception of the Browns. They were extremely open about the whole thing. And I think that mindset also left themselves open to other influences, like that of their local chaplain, for example. and I think that it could be that their chapel. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it could be that their chaplain was perceiving what they were viewing as demonic, and that allowed them to, or influenced them into believing it. Not that they were gullible. I'm just saying that they were just so open to the ideas, other ideas of what could be happening there. And because they were Christians and devout, that they just kind of read it right into it.
Yeah, and I didn't understand like why it went south the way it did so fast. I mean, on my end, like here are these people, they were very welcoming. While we were there, they were very nice.
Perfect hosts.
Yeah, perfect hosts. As a matter of fact, Jonathan had gotten my ex-wife and I a hotel room at the was it casino type place on the reservation? Yeah, sure. And I couldn't say more nice things about him in that aspect. But later on, after we'd all gone home, gone our separate ways, and things started to take a turn, it's like they just lashed out at everyone.
Not only that, but things started getting weird. They didn't really lash out at me. I know that she was still sending me items about strange lights moving up and down the rivers and trying to tie in aliens with Bigfoot. Okay, so and I tried not to poke at her too much, but I was saying, I think you're reading far too much into this. You're going way off in left field, and you're not really taking a good look. Well, that's why she sent it to me. She wanted my opinion. And I says, no, I don't believe that these lights moving up and down the river have anything to do with aliens or Bigfoot. So, but and then after that, I just said, well, I'm just not gonna, answer her emails anymore.
Right. Yeah, I can't remember exactly how it all went down, on my end. I know that Matt was doing some type of a show with Jonathan at one point. Yeah. And then that went south. And it was not too long after that everything just kind of went just fucking imploded bad. And it was too bad all the way around, because
I just want listeners to know that we weren't involved in any kind of a group or a club or anything like that in regards to the Browns. It wasn't like this.
No,
this thing. It was just the Browns, and then they'd invite us out and so forth. But not like the team,
Yeah, there wasn't any type of a team. Like I literally jumped on board late in the whole thing. Like I think Jeff and David had already set up going up there. And I was like, hey, I'm going on my honeymoon out here. At the end of it, I can, we can show up there, which was all right by everybody involved. So, I mean, I spent a week driving from California to Washington, and then I think we were up there 2 days at the Browns place, so 2 nights.
And we had the thermal. I was actually out in the thick of the woods, pitch black with a thermal. Was there for about half an hour or so, just scanning and recording with the thermal out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So, and we did have recorders out, but nothing of any substance happened while we were there. Like besides what you're saying about the recorder, but that ultimately that could have been anything.
It could have been a neighbor, or maybe somebody out doing. I don't know. It was someone or something coming up and at least nudging the recorder,
right?
But it could have been anything. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's because of those types of things, those types of gatherings. I mean, because that's not the only quote unquote expedition I've been on. It usually just winds up being people hanging out and drinking and partying in the woods.
Yeah.
Which is all fine and good. I mean, hey, if you want to do that, that's great. But
then on the other hand, there have been sightings by people who were doing just that. They were, They were just out there camping out, and then all of a sudden they hear something, or something comes in the camp, or something rushes the bushes, or it just.
And that's all fine and good. I just think that more or less, if people are going to do these types of things, they should be more of an investigation and less of a hangout. You know, when you're going to be doing those things, I just think it kind of takes away from it.
Well, the Brown investigation was actually done just weeks after the video had been released by the Olympic Project and myself, who went out and done some measurements of photography and things like that to either prove or disprove the findings on the Brown footage. And I was shocked because I came kind of prepared to find out that it was actually a group of, like, a herd of cattle far from the distance, like in the field. And my photographic evidence showed that it could not have been that. So so I was like, oh, and
I want, since we're on the subject of the trip up there and it does involve someone. Hey, Richard, are you available? Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I'm here.
Possibly. We need to correct something that was said on the show that I forgot to correct last week. Jeff Kelly's YouTube channel is not shut down. It's still very much there.
That's all.
Was it you that had announced that, Richard?
It was me. Yes, I read a post on the Squatchers Lounge. And
you were wrong.
No. He relayed information that was laid out there by Mr. Kelly.
Oh. So Jeff said his channel was shut down?
YouTube. Yeah, basically he tried to make it out like YouTube had shut down his channel, and then Richard had told me this on the show, and I was like, "Oh, really?" So, like, I don't know, a day or so later, because I have old links from ages ago posted on my blog from his YouTube channel. So I wanted to check them to make sure, because if they're gone, I wanted to take the posts off my blog. You know, because it just makes no sense to have the post there without the, video.
Sure.
So I went and checked, and lo and behold, everything's still there. So I messaged Richard, and I'm like, "Didn't you say that?" Yeah, and nope, it's still there. So
I showed Chris the post.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if he wants to try to get people to pay him through Patreon, that's all fine and good. I just know that we had relayed that his YouTube channel was shut down on this show, and it is, in fact, not shut down.
Well, I'll be dipped in pig slop.
That's right, as you should be.
I would also like to correct something that was said on the show.
Okay.
Last week, I relayed the message that Dr. Matthew Johnson could possibly have skin cancer, and we should all send him our thoughts and prayers. He has since come back with the results of his skin test. He doesn't really have cancer, and he's giving full credit to the Bigfoot for healing him. So fuck him, fuck his family, and fuck anyone that looks like him.
That's awesome.
That's great.
There's a line, Chris. There's a fucking line. Okay.
No, I agree.
I mean, I haven't personally lost anyone in my family to cancer. One of my friends, well, Phil has, I'm told it's a horrible, horrible disease.
It is.
And you just watch the people waste away in front of you quickly. And so if he's using that information to promote his con man Bigfoot stuff, I genuinely hope he gets hit by a bus.
Well, now that we have announcements to make.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. You remember Summer Lowry? Summer Akasha?
Yes.
Yeah, she's burned into my memory.
Well, she's missing, my friends.
What?
Oh.
She would call her mother daily and never fail. Her mother has not heard from her in weeks. I have not seen anything posted on her Facebook page since I think it was the 8th. No, it was the 6th of this month, which is rare. The last I heard, she was going to Las Vegas. She does have a steady boyfriend who has the eyes of Satan, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, to make it long thing short, she is missing. So anybody that knows her or might know, where she might be, she can contact someone and let them know, because her mom's really worried about her. Anyway, that's all I've got.
I don't have anything. Oh, no, wait, I do have something. Yeah, unfortunately. Dean Cooper. Yeah,
Dean Cooper.
Start laughing now. Dean Cooper. This is a big fuck off for you. Dean, I've always loved the shit out of you. But to go on one of my posts and fucking make a comment about the fact that it's so much easier to click on a link to go watch one of Phil's videos. I fucking post tons of blog articles and put them all together on a blog, which is Fortean related. So I collect things that are Fortean related and put them all together. And unlike some people, I don't say, please send me fucking money. I just try to make it. So
wow. Tell us how you really feel.
It's and that's absolutely correct. I know that there is a certain person who still runs the Bigfoot evidence. My videos show up on his blog. There's another couple of other blogs that my videos show up on regularly. And I certainly don't mind it. I mean, generally, if you click on the blog, there's going to be a link to my video. So I benefit from it. Why shouldn't I want that?
Oh, I'm sure he's just been fed fucking bullshit that I just leech off other people's shit. Because the person in question, that I'm referring to, used to bitch that, I made my money off of his videos.
Sucking his dick.
Yes.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. So, anyhow, that's what I do. And if you have issue with it, don't click on the fucking goddamn links. So.
Cool. So, yeah. Anything else to bitch about?
No, that's pretty much it. Do we have any news this week?
Phil's gonna read the news.
Aliens.
Weak sauce.
Will return.
They will?
Shock claim of ET visits, but only if we get friendlier. Aliens will visit Earth once humans start becoming more friendly with one another, top ufologists have sensationally claimed.
Kumbaya, my lord. Oh.
Some conspiracy theorists are waiting with bated breath, whatever the fuck that is, for the day advanced extraterrestrials arrival from outer space. But we are not ready.
Stop, Phil. Just stop.
The main reason for this is because we have not yet learned to fully cooperate as a species and may be too threatening for intergalactic species.
That is bullshit. We as a species has collectively agreed that we're going to disagree with everyone else. And I think that's pretty impressive for us.
But these are the views of Eric von Däniken, Eric von Sanican, and Gregorio Tuskolos, who are proponents.
Your impression of Steve is on point, Phil.
Thank you very much. These are the views of Eric von Däniken and Giorgio Tsoukalos, who are proponents of ancient alien astronaut theory and believe extra testicles have already been.
If a man with some kind of fucked up hairdo is on board. It's got to be ancient aliens.
Speaking at the UFO Summit 2018 conference in Brazil, Mr. Sokolos said, "In my opinion, it is that we, as a society, we need to become more friendly with each other." Quote.
Bullshit.
And
Quote.
do you have any Aquanet?
Quote, "We really need to start looking at ourselves and say, you know, we are all brothers and sisters on this planet. We really are." Unquote.
No, we're not.
Quote.
We're mortal enemies. Every other human on this planet is a cunt. It is my duty to call them cunts. I will not be criticized by someone with a Von in their name.
"And it is up to us to clean our house here on Earth. And I think then, after we cleaned up our mess..."
Now he's criticizing my fucking janitorials. I don't like this guy. He is a wank peasant.
That's when we will make contact.
So we just keep a clean house and be nice to each other and aliens will come.
Mr. Von Dickydoo, who was authored numerous books on the advanced alien theory, said,
Ding ding.
that
Ding ding.
Hold on, I gotta go get the fucking door.
Oh, my fucking God.
Oh, we are firing on all cylinders.
Of course we are. We got a fucking drunken news reporter.
Well, you wanted Steve, you got Steve.
Oh, I got Steve, all right.
You've definitely brought the Alcorn edge tonight.
Oh, God. Okay, Mr. Von Duckenduck, who authorized numerous books on the advanced theory, alien theory, says that aliens already visited Earth in the distant past and will return in the far future. And probably they are back already. Probably.
Sweet.
Quote, "Now that we learned from that..." Oh, no. Quote, "Now, what can we learn from that? We have to learn to become humble. We are not a eunuch. We are not unique. We are not the crown of creation, neither the top of evolution, as far as anyone knows for sure. We are just one of the millions, billions, and billions of species in outer space. They will come back. They will teach us again." Mr. Von Dorkenhead added that a plethora of alleged UFO sightings, or a plethora if you prefer, of UFO sightings suggest that aliens are already here, and maybe they are observing our progress and our failures and each other and peering through our windows.
Like peeping Toms?
I just threw that in.
Oh.
He continued, quote, "Somebody is around this planet, and obviously it's observing us and everything we do, say, and maybe studying our language, our microbacterias, our weapons, our religious systems, our political systems. They are watching us." From the Sunday Express. It's good paper.
Good stuff.
No, oh yeah. I like that one. Let's see, aliens will return shit. Okay, you ready for the next one? I mean, I'm ready for comments, questions.
No, go, carry on.
Okay, crew member. The day UFO was spotted over Kekora, 40 years on. Or Kekora. It was New Year's Day. It was New Year's Day.
Oh, God.
1979. When the world awoke to the news that strange lights had been spotted by 6 people on the plain of New Zealand's South Island.
What the fuck are you doing? I mean, are you trying to do Welsh? I mean, what part of the world are you aiming for there?
Says Mr. Pirate Voice.
Not New Zealand, I can tell you that.
I love you know, your pirate voice. I mean, I have to give you kudos, but you know, it doesn't sound a bit like a pirate. Was it a UFO? No, says the skeptics. It was Venus. Because Venus and Mars are all right tonight. It was squid boats. It was radar returns from the field of cabbages.
I hear that women are from Venus, Phil.
They are, Chris.
Oh. Okay.
It's a bar. It's a strip place downtown Seattle.
Oh, I thought it was a gaseous planet.
No. Oh, you mean the other Venus?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it has gas.
I only know the one.
No. Okay.
But 40 years later, the 2 pilots and 4 passengers are adamant it was none of the above and are frustrated at. So, in other words, it's not lights from a field of cabbages. They're frustrated at being unable to find answers.
Such as a Cabbage Patch Kid?
Cabbage Patch Kids. The Herald on Sunday tracked down each member of the group around the world. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
One is a mango farmer in Hawaii, and we all know how they are, while another is an 80-year-old newlywed. I'll say that again. Another is an 80-year-old newlywed after her royal wedding-themed ceremony at her is this a real fucking news story?
Probably not.
Thanks, Richard.
I'll do the fucking accent.
Ceremony at a retirement village the night before Meghan and Harry's big day.
Practice makes palace. Perfect.
The case brought instant fame, but no fortune for some before bringing shame and anger when they were accused of hoaxing the sighting. It broke up the marriage.
Yeah.
Better? No. Okay.
Maybe for Richard, not for me.
Okay. At the end of 1978, Australasia was in the grip of UFO fever. In October, 20 years.
Not Johnny Fever?
No, Australasia.
Oh.
Say that fast 3 times. In October, 20-year-old Frederick Valentich disappeared while piloting a small Cessna 182 aircraft over Bass Strait while heading to Kong Island in Tasmania.
Tasmania, land of the thylacine.
Described as a flying saucer enthusiast, Valentich informed Melbourne Air Control that he was being accompanied by an unknown craft. It wasn't a thylacine. 2 months later, across the Tasman, on December 21st, Safe Air pilot Vern Powell and Ian Perry spotted strange lights while flying from Belheim to Christchurch. Excuse me. I apologize to all the people down in New Zealand. It's Christchurch. Thank you. Yes. A producer for Melbourne's Channel 0, now Channel 10. They had a Channel 0? Leonard Lee heard the news and tracked down reporter Quentin Fogarty, who worked for the channel but was on holiday with his wife and children in Christchurch, staying at
Sorry,
TV.
what was he on holiday?
On holiday.
Okay, that's slightly better.
Oh my God.
Thank you. I'm about to go to bed.
We should do an episode where we all do accents. That'd be funny.
It would be a laugh riot.
Well, Steve's not doing next week either, is he? So
yeah, I don't know what he's doing next week.
It's Christmas.
No, it's not Christmas on Sunday.
Well, it's near Christmas.
Oh.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. Freelance Wellington cameraman Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett!
The man, the myth, the legend.
Was also hired along with his wife, Jarre, who operated the audio. I'm just making that up. Audio tape recorder. The group were invited to jump aboard Safe Air's Belheim-based Argosy plane named the Merchant Enterprise, not to be confused with another Merchant Enterprise. Late on December 30th, which pilots Bill Startup and Bob Gard were taking on a newspaper run between Wellington and Christchurch.
That's the capital of New Zealand.
And then the front fell off.
No.
Well, the front's not supposed to fall off.
Mm.
Shortly after takeoff, the pilots noticed strange lights appearing and disappearing over the Kakore coastline about 20 miles west. Kakora coastline about 20 miles west. Quote, while we were filming a stand-up camera, Captain Bill Startup shouted to us that we should go to the flight deck immediately. Yes, something was happening again, says Davy Crockett, the king of the wild frontier. He managed to film a rapidly moving bright white light. With the conversation coming through my headphones from the pilots and radar from Wellington, it all started to get very scary, said Nigel Crockett. I was able to stand up a couple of times and was able to see these bright lights coming and going. Quentin was a real mess and grabbed hold of both my hands and started shaking. I didn't have time to worry about myself. I had to help him. It was a conundrum. A pandemonium broke out all over the plane. I just made that part up. The plane landed at Christchurch to unload newspapers and condoms, and pilots asked the news team if they wanted to go back through the area they had traversed. Nigeria was too frightened to stay in Christchurch. The others reboarded the plane with Dennis Grant and Nigeria's place. Now, David had used up all the film in his 16mm camera, shooting a bright light for no apparent good reason. Quentin called me sometime after midnight from Christchurch Airport to see if I could provide a fresh roll of film. I could. What a break. But there was a catch. I wanted to get on the plane for the flight to Bina. And the plane took off at 2:16 a.m. About 3 minutes after takeoff, the group saw a bright round light to the right. A bright round light to the right. The airplane radar showed a target in the same direction about 18 nautical miles away. Fogarty could later be heard saying on camera, "Let's hope they're friendly." Crockett filmed the light for several minutes as it approached to travel along with the plane. Whoa, dude. When they turned towards it, the light seemed to react by moving away from the airplane. The experience itself is extraordinary, Fogarty said. I'm not going to do an accent. Just being on the cramped, noisy flight deck of Argosy barreled down the coast dead from night was exciting. It's exciting. Factor in a row of pulsating.
You wouldn't know it the way you're fucking saying it. But anyway.
Just being on this cramped, noisy flight deck of the Argosy barreling down the coast of the dead of night. Oh, my freaking God. It was exciting.
That sounded more exciting.
Factor in a row of pulsating hypnotic lights hovering outside the frickin' window, and it goes to another level.
There's a man on the wing.
It just gets better and better. You're bringing it now.
I'm trying to do Steve. After landing at Wilburn Airport at 3 a.m., the group stayed at the two pilots' home in Blenheim. Startup's daughter, Tracy Moore, remembers her father coming home in the middle of the night. Everyone was at our house talking about it in the middle of the night.
First day of summer vacation, I went downtown to look for a job. Hung out at the drugstore.
Then the man gave me a job hanging out in front of the drugstore. At one point, I remember Dad saying it might be a good idea to report it to the police. Duh. It was during the Cold War, and it was very, very cold outside. There was a bit of paranoia around, Mom said. You can't sit on this information, she said. It was scary at the time. I was a big unknown. It was a big unknown thing that had happened, and we had all the adults around discussing it while drinking. There were certainly no jokes being made at all. Now, Fogarty interviewed the pilots before flying to Melbourne to give the recordings to Channel Zero. The footage featured on primetime news that night.
That really throws you, that Channel Zero, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It catches me off guard. I mean, it's not like BBC 4. Okay.
What's wrong with BBC 4?
The footage featured on primetime news that night. And I don't know. I mean, they're still showing Ethel the Frog. Featured on the primetime news that night and a longer documentary piece screened later. The news went around the world and was featured by major news media, including by the Herald and by CBS anchorman Walter Cronkite. And this is the news.
Goodbye, Phil.
Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Wow. That actually had me wishing for Steve Alcorn.
I know. That'll learn you. That will
learn me.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, this has been the Fortean Slip.
Whoa,
what?
Well, I mean, don't just start running off like that. Some say that he once built an exact replica of the Eiffel Tower using only nose hair, and that his pirate voice once drove the snakes from Ireland. All I know is I call him Mad King Richard the Cruel.
Appreciate that.
If you said he made a mountain out of mashed potatoes on his fucking table, I might agree with you.
I have done that.
That does not surprise me. Can I end the show now?
I don't know.
Please. This has been the Fortean Slip, episode 55, The Legend of Santa Claus. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Check out Phil's defunct, non-monetized channel, youtube.com/parabreakdown. Check out Bigfootin' with Keith and Colin on Facebook. That's Richard's comic strip. Check out Matt Knapp at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads. Jesus, I got fucking lost there for a minute. And as always, check out our good friend Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. Next week, I don't know what we'll do next week. I have no fucking clue.
The Beast of Bodmin Moor.
The what?
The Beast of Bodmin Moor.
Okay. All right. So that's what we got.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Anyway, see ya.